The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. It's a Tuesday morning. Monday Night Football. Did you enjoy that epic comeback last night?
You know what I enjoyed?
Winning.
Colts +6.
Winning.
Or Colts +7, actually. It wasn't 6. It's 7.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until this morning, and that made me feel a lot better.
Yeah, that capped off a wonderful week in the Pick'em segment for me.
It was a great week for me.
Oh, it was a great week for you. Yeah.
If you listen to me, you're welcome.
The 7 games that we split on, Jeremy went 6-1. Wow. I was 2-5. We had erased every lead that I had. Unfortunately,
The only lead that you needed.
in 1 week, Jeremy caught up to both the Chief and I. Yeah, everybody's sitting there all even Steven, and look, Lamar Jackson went nanners last night, and I thank him for that because I finally got to beat Flostradamus in a league.
Well, a broke watch is right twice a day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Straws, foodsie, bitches, I'm back.
Blind squirrels, nuts, all that kind of thing.
The Colts, that was ugly. You should have won that game convincingly, and then all of your corners died.
Yep. Lamar Jackson continues to show off that he does have an arm. He can throw passes in the NFL. 2 touchdowns to Marquise Brown, 2 touchdowns to Mark Andrews. And here's the question, is this the new Lamar Jackson?
No. This is everything we tried to do didn't work. The first half was a fucking disaster, and now we have to come back. Oh, yeah, and all their corners died.
Right.
They played 3 corners for the bulk of the second half that I had, 2 of whom I had never heard of. Mm-hmm. When I've never heard of you, that's a bad sign. Yeah. That means they found you at a high school somewhere mopping the floors and went, hey, can you cover people? Because if you can, you come play for us.
The Indianapolis Colts had a 19-point lead with 3 minutes left in the third quarter and couldn't get the job done.
And then goggles went goggles and missed field goals and all the things.
Oh, I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you, Colts fans. Watched him miss big kicks at Georgia over and over, and you knew it was going to happen in the NFL.
He's missed 1.
Huh?
He missed 1.
1.
And he didn't miss that many at Georgia either.
He missed.
Yeah, you're a Georgia fan. See, there's this thing.
He missed a few.
There's this thing where you're not objective.
Uh-huh.
He missed 1 against South Carolina that I still to this day remember because I told you, we were on air and you kept saying, oh,
I'm not worried.
I'm not worried.
I'm not worried.
You should be. And I had South Carolina plus the number. Went well for me.
Anyway, the amazing comeback last night on Monday Night Football. Lamar, he can throw.
Yeah.
You can no longer say he's just a running back.
No, he's not. I don't think this is the game plan that I'm seeing right now is not the Ravens' best chance to succeed. Mm-hmm. That's all I've ever said. I'm not saying he can't do this. I'm saying this is going to be inconsistent.
Yep.
And you're going to end up in games with teams like the Colts. Mm-hmm. So, Greg Roman, you better get a swift dose of act right to figure out how to balance the two.
Yeah.
We can't not talk about this. I don't want to talk about this, but we can't not do it.
Okay, so it was during Monday Night Football last night as I'm watching the Boston Red Sox, thank you very much, battle the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League Division Series. I had the split screen on, the double screen. By the way, if you want to get hooked up with that, just send us an email. We'll let you know how you can have the quad box.
We have a solution that you can watch all the games.
All of them.
In all the sports.
All of them.
And all the fights.
Yep.
And it's not nearly as expensive as you would think.
And all the fights, even in the have you ever gone through that on a Saturday night, the menu, just to see all of the different things that you can find? There are like backroom bar brawl fights.
Yeah.
On there, like Whoever knew this was on any television in the world?
I had a satellite in the 90s. I know there are a lot of things on television that I don't particularly understand.
Anyway, I'm watching the split screen between the Red Sox game and the Monday Night Football game, and I just see over on the left-hand side, Jon Gruden is now out as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. More emails came out, and you've heard the comment, or you've heard the story retold of all of the things that he said about DeMaurice Smith, the now president of the Players Association, again. And then there were more. There were more. It was just, look, here's the thing. Don't think this way, first off. Second off, definitely don't put it in writing where someday somebody can go dig it up. I think a lot of people are under the impression that emails just disappear after you send them. That's not how any of this works.
Yeah, Jon Gruden didn't. There were a few things he said that I went, that's bad, and you shouldn't do that.
Yep.
I mean, first of all, just if you're worried about what people do, I've never understood the person that's worried about what somebody does in their social life. Mm-hmm. Like, you're worried about Michael Sam and what he does and all that. Why? Why do you care? Mm-hmm. I'll never for the life of me understand that.
Well, that was part of the thing. He part of his comments were that the league shouldn't be strong-arming people like Jeff Fisher into taking.
I got news for you. The league didn't strong-arm Jeff Fisher.
No.
Of all the things he said, I think that was one of the dumbest. Mm-hmm. Is that you really think? I mean, the kid was the SEC Player of the Year.
No doubt.
He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
He was an awesome linebacker.
I could argue that he went lower because of that.
No doubt.
So, I mean, and I didn't have him graded as a highly, he was short, mm-hmm. and there were a lot of things that I didn't think would translate. It had nothing to do with what he does in his personal life. Mm-hmm. Now, let's get away from that. What he said about Roger Goodell? Okay. Do you really think he got that he resigned because of that?
Yeah.
No. Trust me, there are plenty of people in the NFL that feel that way about Roger Goodell.
Right.
And if you think he's the only one, I got a bridge to sell you. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think people have said way worse things about Roger Goodell, I got a bridge to sell you.
And now I'm going to give you the spicy take on this. Somebody in the Washington football team put him on a platter and went, hey, you know how we can take the heat off of us? Here, have this.
No doubt.
Have these things.
I said that yesterday if you don't think that this came from the Washington football team as interference for what's going on in the investigation and all of that, I have no doubts that that's where this came from.
100%. Yeah. Hey, how can we deflect this off us? Hey, I know, we'll get that guy that everybody thinks is batshit crazy anyway, and we'll just confirm it.
Yeah. Yep. But, I mean, hey, Las Vegas gets out of the 10-year, $10 million contract that they gave him, so good for y'all.
And look, I have to say, Patrick Holt asked, does this have to deal with the head trainer getting arrested? That didn't help, but they were already breaking down your servers anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the timing, if you think the timing of this is coincidental, you are more naive than I am fat. This was 100%, hey, we have something, and we'll give it to you.
Yep.
And you can do with it what you will.
Yep. Now, just be nice to us on the next thing that comes out about our franchise.
What he meant about DeMaurice Smith, I don't know. I can tell you DeMaurice Smith is about as liked in NFL circles as a herpes sore. Mm-hmm. So if you think that's the only thing that's been said about him in an email, you're rather naive. Mm-hmm. Now, is this how this should have gone? I mean, and look, I'm not trying to give Jon Gruden credit. He did exactly what he should have done.
Yes.
He walked away before he was led away.
Absolutely.
And he knew it. Mm-hmm. He knew it definitively.
And when I saw it last night, like, you would think that, because I told you yesterday, this is going to get worse before it gets better. And I didn't know. I mean, I had no clue that there were more emails that they were going to be piling on. But here's the thing. A guy like Jon Gruden, he doesn't need this job. He doesn't need this. And, I'm out. I'm not dealing with it. This is constantly going to be a problem. And, yes, I'm sure there was a conversation that was had with Mark Davis of, what do we do? And he said, I'm just going to step away.
I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk away. Y'all don't need this distraction. I don't need to be here anymore. It's not really working anyway, so let's go.
I've always been, and I mean, maybe I'm weird in this, and maybe this is going to be the weirdest take you hear on this all day. I'm not of the belief that I would like many of these people. And maybe it's I never got into the hero worship. And maybe it's because I'm a Jets fan. We never had players for me to fawn over.
Yeah.
I've never looked at these guys and gone, hey, I'd love to go get beers with them. I feel like if you crack, and I'm going to tell you something that a professor of mine once said. Look at the person to your left. Look to the person to your right. There are things in one of those people's heads that would make you never want to go in public again.
Indeed.
If you knew it, you would never want to go in public again. So I just assume that. I assume there are bad things with people. These things don't shock me. I read the entire thing and nothing shocked me.
No.
I've got sources in New York, Jets fan, grew up a Knicks fan. I've met a lot of people in the New York area. I got wind that this was coming at about 6:30 last night of the New York Times has some shit and it's about to get ugly. And so in my head, I wrote out what I thought we were going to find.
Yeah.
And then I saw what it actually was and I went, well, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
But it's still not good.
No.
And I don't understand people like that. I don't get you. I mean, to say it, and here's where my broader reaching thought. Think of everybody you know that says off-color shit. They ever said it just out of the blue? They ever just walk up to you and say some weird shit and then walk away? No. It's because something was said to them. It's a conversation. There was back and forth. Did you notice we never saw what Bruce Allen said?
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Of course there is.
Because I would say it's every bit as bad, if not worse. But he's not in the league now, so nobody cares.
Right.
He's been relieved of his duties,
Right.
and he can sit on his yacht and do whatever the hell it is he does. Now, in terms of the part of this I care about is how does this affect this team on the field?
Well,
That's what I mean, look, we cover
some
sports.
would already make the argument that it's already affected them on the field.
And I'll be honest with you, I think it did. I think it did. I think there was a division in the locker room. I think there were certain players that had an issue with this, and it probably should have been handled beforehand.
And you can't really blame them for that.
No.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
like,
blame anybody for how they feel.
Look, as much crap as I gave them yesterday, the morning show on ESPN National for covering this like they did, the one thing that I took away from it that I thought was actually the responsible way to come at this was Keyshawn Johnson said, if I'm a player in that locker room, I can never ride with you again. It was either him or Jay Will said that. And I get it. I mean, I can't really put myself in those shoes because I'm not a black man playing in the league, but yeah, I could never be on your side again if I thought that that's where this came from. So how can you carry on? I mean, it's like the Urban Meyer thing. How can you carry on and lead a group of men when they know you're a buffoon? How can you lead a group of guys, in Jon Gruden's case, when they think you're racist? It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So he did the right thing by stepping down and just ending it now, whether it was an ultimatum given to him of you are going to resign or we are going to have to fire you, or whether Jon just said, I don't want to do this anymore.
I would say it was probably not an ultimatum. I think he just took the high road and away he went.
I think so too. I mean, he said it in the post-game press conference after the Chicago game of, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Well, you don't really have a choice in that. The media is going to tell you what you need to talk about. They're going to ask you about this over and over and over again. You don't want to talk about it anymore? Quit. And he did. And he did. And he did.
And he did. And now, we talk about sports, not politics. That's as much as you're getting from us, because it's not what we do. I'm not a college professor or anything like that. I break down tape. And here's what I'll tell you. This is going to have an effect on the Raiders. It's going to hurt the offense. Now you've got a first-time head coach, a special teams coordinator coming in, which, by the way, I find that to be a very weird hire.
Well,
I find it weird that's the...
What, that they didn't give the job to Tom Cable?
No, Tom Cable wasn't the one. I was thinking Gus Bradley.
Oh, okay.
Gus Bradley's been a coach in the league, and I found that's who I immediately thought it was going to be. And Rich
It'd be different if
Scareccia,
it was
he's so tied to Jon Gruden that I found that to be very strange.
Yeah.
You've been with him for like 11 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
And maybe that's it, that you're trying to keep everything the same in the building. But there are going to be people that have problems with it. Like, you've been attached to Gruden for so long, you knew this.
Yeah, but the only guys that had head coaching experience on that team were bad head coaches. I mean, Gus Bradley, Tom Cable, nobody's really excited about turning the team over to them. So basically, by giving it to an unknown, at least the fan base who is not in the know and doesn't know who Rich Bisaccia is, they can go, hey, okay, let's find out about this guy. Because we already know what Gus Bradley and Tom Cable are as head coaches.
Rob Johnson asked in the comments, who do we think will get the Raiders job now? Let me make this as clear as I can. It's going to be somebody that is crystal clean as the new fallen snow. So just look through the league at who that could possibly be. I've heard Eric Bieniemy. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
In the division?
In the division. That's kind of a shot at Andy Reid. We've seen that over and over and over again, that not going well. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But, I mean, there are guys, and we'll know more as time goes on, but it's going to be somebody that is absolutely crystal clean.
Tony Elliott.
No. Yeah, I don't think you're hiring anybody from Clemson after this year. I think that'd be a tough sell anyway. It sure as hell would be a tough sell now.
Well, I think if anything, every minority name goes to the top of the list,
and I'm sure they do.
Right. I mean, that's
Adam Black said David Shaw. That makes a lot of sense.
David Shaw.
David Evans Olsen said Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's going to get a job somewhere. He's going to get a job somewhere, and he is. From everything I know and every person I've ever talked to, he's crystal clean.
Well, there will be a lot of jobs open this offseason. So, I mean, you'll have the Minnesota job, the Cincinnati job.
I think the Minnesota job will be open in a week. 1 week from today.
You got Vegas being the first one, the first domino to fall in all of that.
Keyshawn Johnson called him a used car salesman.
Yep, he did. I heard it.
I love Keyshawn, I really do. His helmet's in the studio. There's
it.
times that he talks, and I just go, "Will you stop doing that?" Like, I understand what you. And you know what? I have to say this because it's been bothering me. Okay. I've watched a lot of the takes on this. There's nothing in this life that pisses me off more than disingenuous people. If you're gonna be disingenuous, just shut the fuck up. Like, if this is gonna be I knew it the whole time. No, you didn't. You know how I know that? Because every other player and every person that's worked with Jon Gruden said, nope, I'd never seen a touch of it.
Yep.
Do you really think Mike Tirico would have put his reputation on the line for somebody he knew this about? As an African-American in this country? Are you an idiot? Do you know how many times I saw that on Twitter last night? Like, Mike Tirico's just a company man and all this. Will you shut the fuck up, please? But, like, please, stop talking. Mike Tirico has been beyond reproach, minus one alleged incident that I wasn't there, I don't know. For 40 years doing this. He's super well respected in the business of what we do. And now all of a sudden, because he didn't have interactions like this with Jon Gruden, now you don't trust anything he says. Cool, mute it. And shut the... And while you're muting things, mute your fucking self.
Yeah.
That felt good. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. We have a lot of we have a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
Let's fix some fantasy football teams.
Yeah. All right. So if you're into the you're 5 weeks into the NFL season, you're looking at your fantasy team and you're 1-4 or God forbid 0-5.
Yeah, you just look at your fantasy football team and go,
oh wait, was she a great big fat person?
Now, normally when I ask this question, I get no help. I don't. But Jeremy is willing to help you. When I ask for help, all I get is you should draft better.
You should draft better.
And I appreciate that. My dad. My dad set the stage in my life for harsh criticism, being turning that into productivity. However. There are a lot of people that need some help. So instead of using your usual trope, let's go with...
Don't use the word trope. I'm over that word. I don't want to ever hear that word again, frankly. I don't ever want to hear that word again. I had never heard that word until Friday, and I think I've heard it 9,000 times since.
So how to fix your fantasy football team?
There have been a lot of guys that were drafted early, not necessarily first rounders. The first rounders in large part have been pretty good. Yeah. Like Ezekiel Elliott's been better than you thought he would be.
Oh, yeah.
Zeke was the guy you got and you went, I don't want him. And he's been good. Saquon Barkley, not so good.
No. DMP dead.
There is a guy that was taken in the first round, and people that took him are probably really happy that they took him right now. Things are going well. Yeah, we're good. And you should bail like he's on fire.
Who?
Aaron Jones.
Why?
A.J. Dillon's been better than him.
So? He's
A.J.
the backup.
For now.
Stop that. You think there will be a point in this season where A.J. Dillon takes over the lion's share?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You put words in my mouth.
Okay.
Do I think he's going to cut into Aaron Jones? Sure do. Okay. Who are they more long-term tied to, A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones?
It's A.J. Dillon.
There you go. Look at the contract Aaron Jones signed. Oh, they paid him. Yeah, and they get out of that deal for virtually nothing. I'm just telling you,
Yeah,
A.J. Dillon's been better.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's grossly lacking in weapons right now. So if they think A.J. Dillon's better, or his running back, I shouldn't say he's better because he's not a better player. They're tied to him. And Aaron Jones right now would fetch you top dollar in a trade.
The only way that I can get down that path is that if you think Aaron Jones is going to be what? Split out of the backfield? Like they're going to put him out wide? They're going to put him in the slot?
I don't know what they're going to do with him. I'm not Matt LaFleur.
Oh, I understand.
It's not my job to know what they're going to do with him. It's
know.
my job to tell you everything I've seen leads me to believe that this is going to keep happening. Touches. Have you looked at the touches for A.J. Dillon?
No.
If my computer will stop refreshing, I'll tell them to you. I've gotten here 3 times and it keeps bouncing me back. Through 3 weeks.
Okay.
Through 3 weeks of the NFL season, A.J. Dillon had a combined 19 touches. He has 28 in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Aaron Jones had 7 in week 1, so you kind of discount that with A.J. Dillon because he had 5. All right, so now you take that out. It was 23-6, 21-8, 18-16, 18-12. Do you really think that was just an accident? Because one of those was a real close game. It's going to keep happening. And you know how I know it's going to keep happening? Because Matt LaFleur has done this every year he's been in the league. It's just now he has a different portly running back to supplant Aaron Jones. Have we or have we not bitched about this every year Aaron Jones has been in the league?
Yeah, we have. Aaron Jones needs to have more of the share.
Workload.
Yeah.
We bitched about it every year he's been in the league. What the hell makes you think it's going to change now?
Nothing, but I'm not selling on Aaron Jones.
Why?
Because he's a top 10 running back in his league.
I'm not saying you sell him for Trey Sermon and a bag of footballs.
Well, no.
I'm saying you get appropriate value for him.
Okay. What is something that you could get for Aaron Jones that would make sense and wouldn't put you in a hole?
What is? You're asking something that I would do?
Yes.
All right. Right now, as of right now, in PPR scoring, Aaron Jones is behind Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Najee Harris. That can't be right. No, that is right.
Yeah, it is right.
Holy shit.
He had 14 catch game, remember?
Holy shit. Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, Cordero Patterson, DeAndre Swift. If you told me right now I could trade Aaron Jones for James Robinson, George Kittle, and any other living, breathing human, I would break your hand to do it. Because I would rather have James Robinson outright for the rest of the year. Because there's nobody to infringe on that workload.
Right.
No one. If you told me I could do Aaron Jones for Miles Sanders, Calvin Ridley, and Dawson Knox, I'd break your hand to do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat, and I wouldn't think about it. Now, I'm in a slightly different position than most because I've hit on some bench running backs. Damian Harris has been fine. He's not been great, but he's been fine, and I think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
Zach Moss has been pretty good. Mike Davis scores 10 to 12 points a week. So he's a guy. I'm never going to get into a position where it's like, oh, who am I playing this week? Somebody for the Chicago Bears. That's not going to happen.
Unless their name's Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, we'll get to him later. We're going to talk about him, don't you worry. Patrick Holt said Kittle's on IR. I'm well aware of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
but that's what would sway the deal. That's what would get somebody to give up George Kittle and James Robinson.
Yeah, because you're desperate too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody would say, oh, I'm getting Aaron Jones and I'm giving up a guy on IR. Huh, you're stupid. Okay, I think James Robinson outscores Aaron Jones for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron Jones is a bigger name. Aaron Jones is an inconsistent fantasy football player.
Okay.
That's what he is. And Matt LaFleur is a ride-the-hot hand kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And A.J. Dillon's role is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Except, did they use him in the passing game?
Who?
A.J.
They can. He hasn't been a consistent threat there, but they can.
But, I mean, I guess that's kind of my point, is why would they if they have Aaron Jones?
Because you can't use Aaron Jones to do everything, and Matt LaFleur refuses to do that. Refuses. How many times have we done this? It's almost like Jamal Williams went out the door, and people just go, oh, Matt LaFleur's a smart coach now. No, he's not. But see, this is where people get fucked up. Exactly what you just said. This is how people get fucked up in fantasy football. Mm-hmm. Well, I would never play A.J. Dillon over Aaron Jones. Did they ask you? Did Matt LaFleur call you and ask you for your game plan? Oh, okay. Then it doesn't matter what you would do. Mm-hmm. You have to look at what he will do. This is his third year as the coach of the Green Bay Packers. You know what we've done 3 years in a row? Free Aaron Jones. Oh, we had 2 big games. Cool. Means he's probably only got one left all year. Because historically, that's what he does.
It's not that bad, is it?
Look at his game logs.
That's what I'm doing. I'm pulling it up right now.
Look at his game logs. They're not good. Because there are a lot of 8s and 6s, and I've had Aaron Jones. I've played this game.
Yeah.
I've ridden this roller coaster, and it ain't real fun.
I mean, last year he had 3 games over 20.
David Evans also
Everything
said,
else
rate my
was-
running backs. Jonathan Taylor, Damian Williams, Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson. I'm really glad you said that about Chris Carson. I'm glad you came along, because Chris Carson's another one that I would trade like a motherfucker right now. And I would take whatever I can get. Somebody that is desperate for running back.
Yep.
Let's say they have Saquon Barkley, or they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire or something like that. And you can throw a starting level running back at them. Do it. What would it take to procure Chris Carson from you? I'll guarantee you my answer is less than yours.
T. Higgins.
Okay. Maybe my answer is not less than.
Is not less than mine.
Chris Carson's the 32nd ranked running back in the NFL. And he missed a week. I don't think he's going to miss 2 weeks. And now you've got Geno Smith playing quarterback. So somebody somewhere out there is going to go, oh, Chris Carson's workload is going to go through the roof. I don't dispute that. His productivity is going to go through the floor. I don't want anything to do with any Seattle Seahawks. I don't care if it's Tyler Lockett. I don't care if it's DK Metcalf. I would trade DK Metcalf right now. If you'd give me Jamar Chase, I wouldn't think a second thing about it. I'd probably do it for T. Higgins. I don't want anything to do with them.
I don't know.
Now. I don't want anything to do with them right now.
Right.
Because somebody out there is going to go, Geno Smith, he's been an NFL quarterback for a long time. He'll be fine. No, he won't.
No,
He's
he won't.
bad.
He won't be fine.
He's bad. Justin Harvey said, do you move Carson after next week after his return? I'd do it going into this week.
Yeah, do it
Because
now.
I think once somebody sees it, they're going to go, oh.
Yeah.
That line sucks.
Once they see that other defense stack the box and him get 2.5 yards a carry, oh, cool,
it's
he
gonna be
got
brutal.
26 touches. Yeah, but he got 2.5 yards a carry. I would agree with you. Do it now.
Matthew Hoffman asked what I'd do. Aaron Jones for Leonard Fournette and CeeDee Lamb. No. I need more than that. The running back has to be better. Fournette's fine, but I don't think he's ever going to be better than a top 28 running back. I need a guy that's going to be in the top 20.
Yep.
If I'm going to trade Aaron Jones, I need a guy in the top 20.
Did you rate the running backs, though?
Oh,
Jonathan Taylor.
in order, Jonathan Taylor's your 1 with a bullet. Josh Jacobs is your 2. Damian Williams is your 3, but you need to trade him immediately.
I'd say Chris Carson's the 3.
Chris Carson needs to be dealt immediately. I won't be shocked if Chris Carson doesn't have 80 yards in a game again this year.
I wouldn't be shocked.
With Geno Smith, he's bad.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't be shocked to see the same thing from Damian Williams.
Glenn Hopper asked, with Geno, do you not think he's going to be checking down a lot? No, because he never did. I watched him with the Jets. I watched him at West Virginia. He never did. Geno's one of those guys that thinks he's 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So he is going to throw a ton of interceptions. I think Seattle falls apart like a house of cards.
Right.
And I'm not acknowledging that Cam Newton question. No, no one is picking up Cam Newton. Prada might pick up Cam Newton, but no NFL team is.
Chris, just in terms of the Chris Carson thing, don't you think he's going to be checking down a lot?
I just asked that.
What I know, but I'm thinking he doesn't really catch the ball.
He can. He's a fine receiver. I think he had 40-some-odd catches last year.
That's what I'm trying to pull up here. 37. He had 37 catches.
That was right from here. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. But I have a Vulcan brain.
Chris Carson really not known as a receiving
No,
back.
but he's better than you think.
Okay.
That's a legitimate question. I understand why the question was asked. I just don't agree with it.
Ooh, better receiving back, him or Leonard Fournette?
I'd say Chris Carson. Statistically, it'll be Fournette.
Right.
If I was running an NFL team, I'd rather have Chris Carson.
Okay. Wow. All right, so who else are we shifting here?
If you have Myles Gaskin, you should trade him for whatever somebody will give you.
Oh, no doubt.
Because right now, somebody out there thinks he's worth something. I don't know what it is. And for point of reference, what would it take to get Myles Gaskin from me? I would love to get one of these hurt guys, whether it's Saquon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I'm not saying you're doing it by himself.
Okay.
But he could be a piece because they're desperate. If you have one of those guys, you're looking at Damian Williams right now going, yeah, you're getting it. Which means Myles Gaskin, you can be convinced.
That means you're
of.
broken inside if you're excited about
100%.
that. Yeah.
Means I can convince you of it.
Right.
See, a lot of these trades are going to sound stupid. There's somebody in your league that would do them. It's just a question of, do they own the guy that I said?
Right. Myles Gaskin.
Every league has a dumbass in it, and if you don't know who the dumbass is, it's probably you. That's always been my rule. If you can't point at the one guy that's just a minor league team for everybody else, it might be you.
I mean, even I get into leagues and I go, that's
David
the
Evans
dumbass.
also asked, would you trade Carson and a defense for Brandon Cooks? In a fucking heartbeat, I would. Wouldn't even kind of think about it. Rob Johnson asked about the next guy. This is a buy. And I've got a lot of buys.
Okay.
A.J. Brown.
Buy A.J. Brown.
Aggressively. If you're in a fantasy football league and you don't have, let's see, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs, and you don't call whoever has A.J. Brown in your league this week, you did it wrong. Straight up, you did it wrong. Because this is not sustainable.
Everybody bailing water on him after a 3-catch week last week.
He hasn't been good.
I know he hasn't been good, but it's still A.J. Brown. You're not getting him for anything. You're not getting him for a discount.
Yeah, you are. Because there are a lot of people that think Derrick Henry is going to keep running and doing all this. Speaking, since we're on the Titans, I'd sell Derrick Henry. I would auction Derrick Henry off. I would tell every owner in the league, I will trade him. Because he's going to break. This is not a spicy spice. He's going to break. Everybody that has ever had a workload like this has broken.
Yep.
This is the second year in a row of it, Derrick Henry. You mark my words. And I don't want to be right, but I'm going to. There's a week coming where he's laying on a field, pounding his fist on the grass. I'm telling you it's coming. You can listen to me if you want to. You can stick your fingers in your ears if you want to. Because right now, Derrick Henry would bring you a king's ransom.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you.
I mean, he's the number one player in fantasy football overall.
And right now, if you offered me A.J. Brown with, and I'm saying this because Justin Harvey asked me, do you go after A.J. Brown even if you have Henry? I would try to trade Henry and include A.J. Brown in it.
Okay.
Let me just tell you a couple stats on A.J. Brown. Do you know what his drop rate is right now? It's 21.5%. He drops more than every fifth pass that has come his way. Do you know what his uncatchable pass rate is?
22.
It's 40%.
Oh, wow.
2 of every 5 targets that have come his way have been completely uncatchable.
Yeah.
That's not going to keep happening. Mm-hmm. It's an aberration. He's going to have a week, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't pull this, but let me look. I have a funny feeling, because I looked this up for power rankings tomorrow, and I believe the week that I'm a big fan of for him is this week.
Against the Bills?
Yep.
Why?
Because Tre'Davious White will be on Julio Jones. Because Julio Jones always plays on the outside. A.J. Brown does not. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm going to like that a lot. I just feel it in my soul.
He's got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Colts, and the Rams
the Chiefs.
coming up.
That's the one it was.
Yeah.
I like him against the Bills. I'm drunk on him against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So you can ride the lightning and hope I'm wrong and he gets Tre'Davious White, and he might. If Julio doesn't play, he certainly will.
A.J. Brown's, he's an untouchable for me. So,
but that's for you.
Oh, I understand. Everybody's different. People are going to be panicking. I completely understand. Yeah, if you can go out and get him, but he's one that I'll never come off of. See, this is why this is always hard for me, is because all these guys that are disappointing, like I'm constantly a guy who will wait. I will wait and wait
some
and
of
wait
them
and
you
wait.
should. Mm-hmm. There's some guys you should wait on. There are others. Robert Tonyan, he's a bag of turds, and you should get rid of him.
Drop him.
He's droppable, yeah.
Yeah, drop him right now.
He's droppable in every league. I'm trying to think of somebody that's been disappointing. Like Jonnu Smith. Mm-hmm. I'm out. Mm-hmm. There are 40 other tight ends in this league I'd rather have than Jonnu Smith.
Yep.
If he's still holding a spot on your roster, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. Cole Beasley, same thing. He should not be rostered in a regular 12-team league.
No.
He has no role because Emmanuel Sanders is here to stay, whether I like it or not.
Yep. It's the Emmanuel Sanders. Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is another one that maybe you can get somebody to panic on him.
I highly doubt it.
Why is he any different than A.J. Brown?
Because he's been better than A.J. Brown. Markedly?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at I've got the rankings pulled up in front of me. Mm-hmm. In PPR, damn it, Fantasy Pros, stop defaulting that, you bastards. You bitched about it, and now it won't stop happening.
We had that discussion this morning.
Who was the other one you asked me? Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown? Stephon Diggs is number 25 wide receiver in PPR.
Okay.
A.J. Brown is not even the highest A.J. A.J. Brown's 78.
Oh, God.
Yeah. There's a big fuck difference there.
Right.
Stephon Diggs hasn't been what you were looking for because Emmanuel Sanders and Dawson Knox have scored so many touchdowns.
Right.
And touchdowns are fluky. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's going to panic on for me, it would be really hard for me to believe that anybody's going to panic on a guy that has Josh Allen throwing the ball to him after what we just saw. Mm-hmm. That's just not, I make the call, sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think you're going to like how it goes.
Right.
I think you're going to get told to have sex with yourself. And, frankly, I tried to not
on
get
what you're
told
willing
that
to give
anymore.
up. If I can get Stephon Diggs in a deal for Derrick Henry
now
and another running back and a James Robinson or
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones
and Stephon Diggs for Derrick Henry.
Whew. That'd be a hell
and
of a
I got
deal.
news for you. There are people who do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of them. But, yeah, that's what you should be looking for. Mm-hmm. Because that now gives you two starters, and I'll be honest with you, I think that even my derision on Aaron Jones, I would rather have Aaron Jones for the rest of the year. Right. Because I am terrified every time Derrick Henry touches the ball.
Yeah. Are you bailing on either of the top two running backs? We all drafted Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, 1 and 2.
If you're selling, I'm buying.
But I would agree.
If you're selling, I'm buying, and I'm buying aggressively.
Mm-hmm. Both of them have been hurt this year. They haven't played a whole lot.
Well, I got news for you. Christian McCaffrey, if you think his role was big before, just wait. Because they don't have a Mike Davis now. Chuba Hubbard screams from the rooftops, run! Because he's not pass blocking.
Right.
The minute Christian McCaffrey's back in this offense, there's no more pass blocking for Chuba Hubbard because he's terrible at it. So Christian McCaffrey's role is about to go through the roof.
Yep.
That's another one. If somebody had McCaffrey and I could somehow get McCaffrey, I'd do it straight up for Derrick Henry. If I could get another piece, I'd like it even better.
Are you not becoming closer to giving CMC the injury-prone label? Because I think I am. Because after last year, I mean, sure, he had the long-term injury last year, but remember at the end of the year, he could have come back, and then, there were different things that popped up every week. Now, was that more...
Well, they're bad. Of course he didn't come back.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Or is that because they were just bad and they wanted to save him, 100%. So they were just coming up with anything 100%. They could?
100%.
Okay. But
and that's what they should have done. By the way, that's when I fell in love with Matt Rule. I went, hey, that's a smart coach, because most of that is bullshit.
But now he has gotten this label with a lot of people and that play fantasy
Michael
football.
Whiteside said, I have A.J. Brown if you're buying. I'm 100% buying, and we will make the first fantasy football trade in the history of this show on air. I will do it right now. I don't even know what league he's talking about.
I don't either. You're in like 8 leagues with him, so
I'm in so many leagues that I couldn't possibly begin to gather what league it is. Mr. Whiteside, if you would like to offer me a trade, we could make the first ever on-air trade on this show.
There you go. Who else are we selling on right now?
Basically any waiver wire running back you've added.
Okay.
Damian Williams. Yeah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. David Evans Olsen asked, who should I trade first, Damian Williams or Chris Carson? Both. Can you trade them both for one good running back? Because that's 2 bad ones. If you could get one good one, I'd be real happy.
I'm still on Damian Williams on that one.
You shouldn't be. Oh, that's who you should trade first?
That's who you should go first.
I agree.
Yeah.
To me, Damian Williams has no value whatsoever.
Look at his matchups.
Do you know why?
Look at his matchups coming up, and just look at how the carries were split.
And look at that shiny new toy behind him, named Khalil Herbert. Have you possibly heard me say that name before? Because it's not the first time I said it.
Right. And this past week, the carries were split 18-16 in favor of Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert touches me in a way.
Oh, God.
That if a lady touched me there, I would go,
Don't.
That's nice.
Don't. That's gross. It's gross, and we don't need to think about that. It's not what we need. But look, if he's still available in a league, and he's not going to be available in a league if you're in it with us, because one of us has probably got him already.
Yeah, and that's me. I'm that person. If you're in a league with me and you wonder, hey, who possibly has Khalil Herbert? It's this fat guy right here.
Yep.
DJ, we're like an AA meeting for sports. Hi, DJ.
What's up?
One day I'm going to figure out a way to get my hand in the screen now.
Yeah.
By the way, we're still working on this.
You got to kind of do like the English salute.
David Bingston Arendt. I really hope I didn't butcher your name. I'm bad with names. We're like an AA meeting for sports.
What's up, David?
Hello.
DBA. That's what we're going to call him
DJ said,
now.
how about Lamar freaking Jackson? Yeah, he's real good at football. I came around on that in the offseason, and yeah, he's very good. He's good at the footballs.
Yeah.
If somebody in your fantasy league is willing to give him up, you should go get him. David asked, what should I do with Melvin Gordon?
Sell.
This is what I don't know that I agree with you.
Really?
I don't know that I agree with you. And that's not an indictment on Javonte Williams.
Okay.
I like Javonte Williams is on my go buy him list because I think his workload's going to go up.
Yeah.
I don't know that means that Melvin Gordon's going to go down.
I mean, in turn, it has to.
No. Oh, Buffalo Bill.
Oh, well,
God,
Was you a great big fat person?
How does
It's
that
my
work?
favorite move of the switch.
So how does that work differently with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but it doesn't work with Melvin Gordon and
Because are you going to take passes away from Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, you going to have Aaron Rodgers throw less?
No.
Would you have Teddy Bridgewater throw less?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There's the fucking difference.
Okay.
One has one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks that ever lived. One of them has a guy that wears
2 gloves. It's real cute. He wears 2 good glove on this hand, glove on this hand, and he throws with them.
Yeah, you remember what I said about Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah.
That started to look smarter and smarter by the day. Oh, he's not a 76% quarterback.
So
he never has been.
So you would put Melvin Gordon in the hold category right now?
It depends on what I could get for him. Let me look at running backs. I was on receivers, so let me go back to running backs. In PPR, Melvin Gordon is running back 21. It depends on who I can get. I mean, I'm looking solely at running backs around him. If I could get Chase Edmonds, I'm in. I'm not giving him up for Myles Gaskin.
No.
I'm not giving him up for
Miles Sanders.
That's the one I was
Miles
looking at.
Sanders.
Miles Sanders. That's who I would want. Hope that they're desperate.
Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is another
You'd have
one.
to pair something with Gordon to get Josh Jacobs, but I would still do that. Jacobs is a guy I'm after.
Okay, I'll give
with
you
the
a
coaching switch
6th
from
round
Gruden. Because guess what? I fully believe that weird split with, Josh Jacobs is good. Yeah, I struggle to believe that two people don't realize how much better at footballs that Josh Jacobs is.
Yeah.
So I could easily see him being a focal point of that offense.
No doubt. I also can see them.
Sorry, I ate pizza before the show and I'm having to wash it
He's
down
got
with Bang.
heartburn.
Because I got heartburn so bad I can barely breathe.
Which is always good. We know you squelch the heartburn with
Fireball.
With basically NOS.
That's not basically NOS. Bang has no calories. It's good for you almost. Dick.
With all that Ultra CoQ10.
Now NOS, which I used to drink and still do every once in a while when my wife's not looking, you could use that to burn oil stains out of your driveway. And I used to do that to my body.
Could you get somebody to give you Kareem Hunt for Melvin Gordon?
I doubt it. You'd have to give something else with it. DJ asked, should I start Mike Williams again this week or try to trade him? Trade him now. Trade him right now. Don't even wait for this show to end. Just leave it running in the background and offer Mike Williams trades to everybody in your league.
His value will never be higher.
Ever. My wife asked if I ate pizza for breakfast. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. You ever just look at a microwave and go, that is the coolest invention in the history of fucking time? I watched my pizza spin around in it, and it's getting hot as it's doing. I'm easily amused. Okay? I don't understand shit.
What, were
I'm
you
easily
high?
amused.
What is that?
Was I high? Is that what you just
Right,
asked?
like
That's an acceptable question to ask somebody on this show, and it ain't me. So,
I mean, this is normal. I mean, stop. Okay, we need to move on.
yeah, see, you did that. Yeah. Come with the king, you best not miss.
Mike Williams, the number 2 wide receiver in fantasy football right now.
And now let's tie a whole bunch of stories together here. If somebody came to me and said, I will give you James Robinson
Done.
for Mike Williams.
Done.
In. Because I am scared to death of Mike Williams. I've watched him break about 57 times. And his workload's never been higher. I told Tank yesterday he has, 200-yard games, and he had a third one that was in the 90s in this season. In his entire career, he had 4 before that. Still has Keenan Allen, still has Josh Palmer that I like. I think Donald Parham's role is going to continue to grow in L.A. because it's very obvious that there's a trust that Herbert has with Parham. And so the floor of Mike Williams was always he's the red zone target. Well, now he's not the tallest receiver on the team. Donald Parham is.
Yeah.
And Herbert trusts him, and I think there's going to be a regression, and all it would take is Mike Williams to step in the wrong hole and tweak his big toe and have to sit for a week, and then he's right back to the same guy he was
and
for
you got
4
to
years.
think, too, what does Mike Williams do? Mike Williams goes fast.
2 chicks at the same time. So,
He
sorry,
goes, I'm sure he does.
I heard what does he do, and I can't get that long snapper for the Bengals out of my head that looks like what's his name? The guy that was in Office Space. I can't remember the actor's name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You know what I do, man? Do 2 jigs at the same time. I'm gonna find that picture. I know it's
guy.
here somewhere.
That guy.
If you don't know, because I'm sure there's at least one person.
Oh, we got shared in our chat.
100%. That's I was just remembering that. Somebody I'm sure is like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Mike Williams goes
I'll show
really,
you.
really fast. He high points the ball really well. And this is why he's racking up these massive stats. It's because he is the deep guy. Justin Herbert likes to turn it loose. I don't know that I think injury is the only thing that's going to derail his fantasy season, which is a high probability, by the way. I can't get down with you of, he likes Donald Parham so much. I think if anything, that takes away from Keenan Allen, who's having a disappointing season anyway.
Donald Parham has like 8 catches. 3 of them have been in the end zone. What does that mean? It means he's a red zone guy. Who was the red zone guy before? Mike Williams. Has nothing to do with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, by the way, another guy that I'm looking at going, if I could get you, I probably would.
Well, I'm sure
basically every member of the LA Chargers not named Mike Williams, I would like them all.
Yeah.
Can I please have all of them?
Oh, really? Are you still on Josh Palmer?
Dynasty hold. Don't worry about it. Don't worry your little head about it there, Puddin'. Mike Williams is going to get hurt. Josh Palmer's going to be the 2, and you're going to see the beauty that is the Frostradamus.
Uh-huh.
Because Josh Palmer is a bad
You can leave off that last part. Just bad.
Nope,
bad.
He's not bad. He's good. He's good at the footballs.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The Keenan Allen, he's been a disappointment from where you took him this year.
He has been, but he'll be fine.
He's still a top 20 receiver in fantasy football, so it's not as stark as some.
Oh yeah, just wait for it. Just wait
God.
for it.
Here we go.
Oh God, I love having this computer in front of me. It makes doing this so much easier. Come on. Bite it. Bite the wiener pony.
What the? Stop that.
I should really remember to reset my computer before we do this. Because there's times it's like, dude, you're asking me to do about 90 things at one time. There he is. There he is. Look at that champion.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
that dude. It saves up for the rest of us.
And he's a long snapper?
Oh, yeah.
You sure he's not a long-haul trucker?
100%. That dude right there gets back to his hotel room, and he has to get a water hose to get all of it off the door just so he can walk in it.
I'm seriously thinking that I ran into that guy on a late-night road trip one time.
I'm sure you did.
Getting out of his fucking 18-wheeler in Chester, South Carolina. Like, no. Good God.
So, all right, Matthew Hoffman asked, DJ asked Mike Williams for CMC. If somebody would do that, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And then there's not a soul on the planet, I think, that would do that.
David Evans Olson said, I just traded Chris Carson, the Broncos defense, for Jamar Chase. If nobody else wins today, you win today. Sorry, I was trying to get old two chicks at the same time on the screen, so I've missed a lot of these.
Mm-hmm. Rob Johnson has Hunter Renfrow or Devontae Smith.
Devontae
Smith. It's Devontae Smith. I mean, the ceiling is way higher for Devontae Smith, but Hunter Renfrow's not bad. He's actually on my list. If if you're searching the waiver wire this week for somebody, Hunter Renfrow, he's not a bad option. He's only owned in like 45% of leagues, at least on Yahoo. And do you know where he falls in this year? Hunter Renfrow's ranking for 2021 so far is wide receiver 27. He's had double-digit outputs every week. I think he scored 19 last week. He's not a bad little, flex play as your wide receiver 4, 5, depending on how big your starting roster is.
Sorry, I'm trying to work out a trade here.
Oh, God, he's trading.
I am.
One guy we haven't talked about yet is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's been a major disappointment.
Hey, shut up about Allen Robinson for just a second. He's involved in the trade that I just... Mr. Whiteside, there is a counter for the first potential trade in Sportsocracy live air history.
So you're going to hold off on the
Don't talk shit about Allen Robinson for a second.
I'm sorry, I've never done this. I've never done a show around an actual negotiation.
Yeah, it's happening. It's what we do around here. Mm-hmm. Matthew Hoffman said receive Derrick Henry. I'm going to assume it's David Montgomery. And Chase Claypool, give up Aaron Jones, Hunter Renfrow, and DJ Moore. Yep, you should do that aggressively and quickly. I actually don't have bad shit to say about Allen Robinson. Mm-hmm. I know he hasn't been good, but be really honest with yourself.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we think Justin Fields is an NFL-level quarterback, fact or fiction? It's fact. It's fact. Don't even think about it. He's one of the top 25 most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. Which means, as a rookie, he's going to do what every week? Get better. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he's going to get better at finding his number one wide receiver. I'm not ready to just throw the baby out with the bathwater with Allen Robinson. I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I would be trying to buy. And I want to buy him for what he's worth, not what you think he's worth.
Mm-hmm. But what's he worth? where you drafted him?
Depends where you drafted him. I think he's worth about a 6th round player.
Let's see.
To me, that's T.J. Hawkinson, somebody like that. Ryan Bunch asked in the comments, we're like an AA meeting for sports. So
What's up, Ryan?
Hi, Ryan. Henderson or Chubb going forward? Nick Chubb by a lot. And I love Darrell Henderson.
Allen Robinson, ADP was a 3rd round pick.
And see, and I always thought that was too high for him. Now I'm looking at him going, you're about a 5 or a 6. I think you're equitable to that.
So an even trade would be what? Kareem Hunt? Would you do Kareem Hunt for Allen Robinson?
I would take Kareem Hunt for Allen Robinson. On both sides of it, actually. I would be okay with that.
Okay. All right. Waiver wire gets for this week.
We were just. Oh God.
Yeah, it's 11
we've been
o'clock.
doing this for a while.
It's 11 o'clock, baby.
Mr. Whiteside, you're on the clock because you obviously rejected my offer because it is no longer there.
Oh,
I
no.
do declare that I believe that was fair, and you did not agree. So now we must see what you will do to make this go through. Huzzah!
Yeah.
I went full limerick. That's the first limerick in the history of this show, and it came straight off the top of my head.
Ryan Bunch says Henderson or Chubb
I
going
literally
forward.
just said that.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. What was your answer? I mean, because
It's
I'm
Nick Chubb
intrigued.
by a lot, but I still like Darrell Henderson.
Okay.
If somebody in your league is worried about Darrell Henderson going forward, if you're selling, I'm buying because I'm not worried about Sony Michel at all.
Okay.
Matthew Hoffman said that was dope. I could never do that again. If there was $1 million cash laying on the table, I could never find 3 more pairs of sentences that rhymed.
All right, let's see here. Waiver wire gets for this week. Kadarius Toney is number 1. There's no doubt about it. After his big week this past week, catching 10 balls, 189 yards, you got to have him. Kadarius Toney is he's only owned in 18% of leagues, and obviously that number is going to balloon this week after that output, but you should be in on him. He looks like the new favorite toy for Daniel Jones, and I get it, Daniel Jones is concussed, but he's going to be back, and he hasn't been bad. Daniel Jones is actually not a bad pickup, in my opinion.
No, Daniel Jones is fine.
I mean, he's number 19 overall in fantasy football this year. And I get he had one big week. Yeah, but he's also had a 30. I mean, he had, was it a couple of weeks ago against the New Orleans Saints? He had 40-something. He had 30-something the week before that, had 20-something in the first week. I mean, he's not a bad guy to have, and he's only rostered in 41% of leagues. So Daniel Jones, if you need a quarterback, you could get him on the waiver wire. Kadarius Toney, 18% owned.
Well, and I think he just lost one with Trey Lance because I'm reading the tea leaves here of, okay, so Trey Lance got hurt in the second quarter. Mm-hmm. He played all the way through it, and now you're telling me he's so hurt that he won't be able to play 2 weeks from now? But Jimmy Garoppolo is getting better. Okay, this feels like, hey, we have a better chance to win with Jimmy Garoppolo, so that's who's going to play going forward.
I'd agree.
I would still hold Trey Lance just on the chance that he gets back on the field because he will be fantasy happiness.
Well, and you can't trust Jimmy.
No.
You can't trust Jimmy to stay healthy, so you have to hold on to him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm going to say this name again. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3% owned, 16 targets in the last 2 weeks.
And that shouldn't be that way. He should be 100% owned in leagues.
Mm-hmm. He is coming around to being one of Jared Goff's go-to guys in that Detroit Lions offense. Look, they don't score a whole lot of points, but somebody's got to get the points for them. And I think it's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Michael Gallup. He was eligible to come back last week, so there might be some kind of a setback with the injury that we're not expecting, or maybe they just giving him a little extra time just to make sure that he's 110% ready. But he's only owned in 46% of leagues, so I would say you gotta throw him a bone as well. And I'm starting to come around on Devin Duvernay. He might have some long-term value.
I mean, he's okay. I'm okay with Duvernay. The only problem is he's hat on hat with Marquise Brown. They're both deep threat guys. Eventually, teams are going to figure out, hey, Lamar is not running as much as we're used to. Maybe we should stop pulling those safeties up because these receivers can beat us deep constantly.
Between him and Marquise Brown, and that could open up things for Sammy Watkins. That could open up things for Rashad Bateman.
Oh, hold on. There's a question about Tyreek Hill. All right, so there's questions about Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyreek Hill. I'm going to say the same thing about all three. I don't think you would give me what I wanted. I'm good with all three of them. I don't physically believe anybody would give me what I wanted. Like Tyreek Hill, you're going to have to come off of either Dalvin Cook, CMC, Derrick Henry, somebody like that. I'm not. There's not another receiver in the league I'm trading him for because Pat Mahomes is about to go into full fuck you mode, and the beneficiary is going to be Tyreek Hill. Amari Cooper, I'm not worried about Michael Gallup. I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. There's enough offense in that because eventually teams are going to start putting that 6th, 7th defender in the box to stop Ezekiel Elliott, stop Tony Pollard. And I don't think Dalton Schultz can necessarily keep this up. Amari Cooper's still that same guy, though, that I love him at home. I don't love him on the road. DeAndre Hopkins, he's still the head of that snake. They're spreading the ball around to the limited number of targets they have. Arizona, I think, has only completed passes to like 7 players, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the fewest in the NFL. But every one of those players has caught a decent number.
Yeah.
Ron George asked Jared Cook or Hunter Henry. It's Hunter Henry by a good deal because I think Donald Parham's going to start eating into Jared Cook. DJ asked, would you do Darren Waller for Mike Williams? If somebody will give me Darren Waller for damn near anything, I will take it. I don't really care. Outside of those high-end running backs, I'd give up practically anything for Darren Waller. Chuck Atkins. You have a great name. You used to play in the NBA. I was Chuck E. Atkins. We're like an AA meeting for sports. Welcome in, Chuck. I feel like I have been talking nonstop for 4 minutes. Dallas Goedert or Hunter Henry. I'm going to go Hunter Henry again. If I had a tight end for the Eagles, it's Zach Ertz. And Mark Andrews, keep or sell, I'm going to go keep Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Just because tight end's so hard to figure out. I mean, you can jump back into the pool of playing that. Hey, do I want to play any of the tight ends that we've said in the last 2 minutes? And that is not a fun game to play.
Right.
It's kind of like the dating pool in your 30s or shopping at Goodwill. You know you're not the first to wear it. You hope it lasts for a little period of time and that it doesn't smell funny.
But is there another tight end? Is there another tight end? That you could sell Mark Andrews for right now that you'd rather have long term?
Only the high end ones.
Like TJ?
I'd do it for George Kittle. You just had to give me something else.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have Kittle for 2 weeks.
Right.
So, I'm not. That would get confusing, and most people that have high-end tight ends aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and tell you, I have Waller in a ton of leagues. I have Kelsey in a ton of leagues. I have Kittle in a few. I'm not going below that tier. If I trade a tight end, I'm getting another one of the high-end ones because I'm not jumping back into the pool of, Dawson Knox. And although I do like him, he's probably 8 among tight ends moving forward for me.
Right. But like T.J. Hawkinson, if you could get the T.J. Hawkinson owner to swap with you, I think that'd be fair.
And see, to me, that's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. I think I would rather have Mark Andrews.
Okay.
T.J. Hawkinson is one knee movement away from not being a thing anymore. Because I got news for you. Any of these young guys in Detroit, all they have to do is get a good hangnail, and Dan Campbell's going to go, you should sit down now.
Right.
We don't need you to lose games. We need you to win games starting next year.
Right. Okay. That's not
Sorry, I had to go through like 4 pages of comments because we don't want to leave anybody out.
Right.
There were just a lot of them. So if I missed you, just repeat it and we'll try to hit it before the end of the show.
Well, hopefully you were able to glean some information from all of this to fix your fantasy problem should you be at that horrible stage after 5 weeks of 1-4.
And we did this because I've been asked this question by I've probably been asked this question 100 times of, hey, my team's 1-4, what should I do? Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't take less than a player's worth.
Right. And take advantage of those who are panicking.
Yeah, because somebody's panicking no matter what. Michael Whiteside said, now I'm on the clock for the first Sportsocracy trade. I didn't realize you had to have a running back because I have to have a running back too. Because I only have but one.
That's going to be a problem.
We may have to make the first fantasy football trade in the history of the Sportsocracy. Not today.
Wah, wah.
Oh wait. I don't have a want want button.
No, you don't.
Oh wait, yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, we'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene. Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Are we going to try to stream the afternoon show today as well?
You're the board guy, so does the board work?
We might be able to find a way to do that.
Okay. I mean, we have a meeting
until we get all of the proper connections.
At 12, so.
Yeah, until we get all of the proper connections done, we may hold off on that for a little while.
Series of well, it won't be for a while. It'll be done by Friday, but
a few days. Yeah.
So this week we're doing something different with the recaps and the previews, as opposed to doing every team individually. We're doing your team with who they played last week. Those will be out this afternoon, and on Friday they'll be out with the team you played this week. Mm-hmm. Just, we're trying stuff. We want as many of you to be. We live like an old rap song. You bring your friends, we'll bring our friends, and we can be friends.
That's right. This afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 locally. And, of course, Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard weekday afternoons, 3 to 5, everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And we'll be back with you tomorrow morning here in the Sportsocracy in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.